Welcome to Cash Flow Confidence Live. I'm glad to be back with you this week. I still have a little glitch on the intro, but that's okay because you're here, I'm here, and we're going to have a great show today where I'm going to be talking about mastering 5 skills that you'll never need to justify your advisory again if you have these 5 skills, and your clients will wonder, how did they ever manage their company and their finances without you? So when we start today and we start asking these question, what makes or answering the question, what makes a good or a great cash flow advisor? Here is the truth. It's exciting to me because there's a very clear path from being a competent financial advisor or financial professional, which is you're looking at the past and doing archiving, to becoming a trusted advisor who helps influence the future, and that your clients cannot imagining running the business without you. And it comes down to just mastering these 5 skills. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, but first, I want to tell you about Pivot. Pivot is a conference that you will learn to empower your clients to go from cash crunch to cash confidence in just 4 days. It's a live in-person experience, and we're going to learn and teach how to master the Cash is Clear 5-step cash flow system. If you want to learn more, go to Pivot 2026 or type me a note and I'll send you some more information. But let's talk about the 5 skills. So let me first talk about the opportunity here going from compliance to advisory skills. The gap is that we are taught technical skills in school. And that's what's reinforced over and over again in the marketplace: technical, technical, technical. However, and those are what are considered hard skills, we are not taught advisory skills, many of which are soft skills. Soft skills meaning, oh, they're touchy feeling, they're connecting with people, and it's different. It can be uncomfortable learning these soft skills. It was for me. I'm not naturally a soft skill person, but I've learned them over time. So we're shifting from tell me what happened to let's decide, or I'm going to help you decide what to do next and how to interpret information, not and for the future benefit, not just understanding past history. So there is a clarity gap for most people, and between how to take past numbers and create the future. But that's exactly the expertise that is exponentially more valuable when you can translate the past into cash decisions for the future. So let me give you a real world example. I had been working with the CPA who, I worked with the CPA, and she had been working with a client for years doing the bookkeeping and the accounting. When she started to learn how to have strategic cash conversations, clients immediately asked for more services, and they were glad to pay 50 or 100% more for the retainer to get these types of skills into their business and not just have the recording of information. Why? Because now she was advising, not just reporting. So it's the difference between a good financial professional and an indispensable advisor. It's not knowledge, technical skills. It's the soft skill of transforming that knowledge into clear, understandable, actionable guidance for your clients and connecting with them on a human basis, not on only a numbers basis. So let me go into what are these skills and how do you acquire them. Number one, translate. Don't speak accounting. Speak English, or if you speak French or Spanish or German, it doesn't matter the language. Accounting terms can be confusing. So don't just speak accounting. Learn how to talk natural language in terms that people will understand. Why? Because, well, let me give you an example instead of just telling you why. So think about this one. You can increase your AR 23%. Well, it did increase 23%, your AR, and your current ratio declined. So right there, you've got AR as an accounting term, current ratio is an accounting term, and we don't know, the average person doesn't know if a declining current ratio is good or bad, or is an AR increase good or bad. You know it, I know it because we've been to school, we studied it, but most clients don't. And even if you've told them over and over and over again, it's not their job to understand that and memorize accounting terms. Try this instead. You've got $80,000 in the bank. You've got $80,000 in receivables, money that your customers owe you. But there are $60,000 in bills that are due next week. And if we can collect $40,000 this week, you'll be covered and you'll have enough plus a cushion. All of that is understandable. Learn how to speak plain language. Number two, skill number two to become a great cash flow advisor is forecast confidence. I know many of you can do 13-week cash flow forecasts. However, how confident are you in those numbers? How confident are you in doing a sales forecast and expense forecasts? Those are easy. You got a bill due on the 15th of every month. Boom, it's there. It's done. And maybe if you're lucky enough to have contracts that are paying regularly, that's fairly easy also. But what if they don't pay regularly? What if you're a startup with regular monthly payments, but people are coming in and people are dropping off? How do you project with confidence? And how do you advise your clients that are in different situations? How do you know 100% of the time that you can project cash flow confidently going out 13 weeks or even longer? And it is not just a model skill. People come to me and say, David, what model are you using? I say, it depends on the situation. I can use any model in any situation. There's some that are better or worse. It's not the model. It's the numbers coming out of my brain because I've asked the right questions of my clients. I've looked at the history. I understand what the seasonality is. I know what's coming in. I know what's going out. And that results in a cash flow model that's good and accurate and reliable. So I had one client, cannabis industry, and that's a tough industry because of regulations. They do all sorts of convoluted things. In order to accurately forecast the cash coming in, we had 7 different payment methods with 7 different clearing. And the cash that people brought in to buy product took longer to clear than a check, than an EFT. No, they couldn't do EFTs, than the other payment methods that they used. So it is not just about the model. You need to figure out everything about a client that goes into the model. So that's number 2. And by the way, asking the right questions, that's another soft skill. All right. Skill number 3 that you need to master to become a great cash flow advisor is root cause diagnosis. What's the real problem? Your clients will always tell you symptoms. I can't make payroll. That's a symptom. My accounts receivables are growing. People aren't paying me. That's a symptom. There's all sorts of symptoms that you will told. And why don't they tell you the root cause? Because if they knew what it was, they would fix the problem. But instead, they look for band-aids to get through because it's fast, it's easy. Open up another line of credit. Happens all the time. Line of credit is pulled because it is needed because of declining cash flow, and that's the only solution. So guess how long that line of credit lasts? Only as long as the declining cash flow is sustained. And then they're in trouble again. So one accurate diagnosis is worth 10 times the number of generic recommendations out there. I mean, let's take, for example, the accounts receivable. It's growing. Well, what could you tell people? You know, off the top of your head, call your clients, offer a discount, figure out, and there's a bunch of things. But why are they not paying? And systematically go over, oh, it's because they were inaccurate. Half of them. Great. Fix the problem. Send out accurate invoices. Another bunch, they didn't realize was in their inbox for another 25%. Great. Fix the problem. Call them. Have a human conversation. Get a response. Get a confirmation that the invoice is received, that they know it's in the inbox. You get the idea. One's a symptom, the other is a root cause fix. Let's go on. Let's talk about skill number 4 that you need to become a great cash flow advisor. And that is facilitating decisions. Not making decisions, facilitating them. What's the difference? Making a decision is you telling the client what they need to do. That's not going to help them in the long term. And guess who they blame if it goes wrong? You. That's a secondary issue. The real issue is they need to internalize the decisions and not just be constantly asking for them. Now, you can lead them down the road. You can help them do the decision making. It is important for your clients to grow stronger with every single conversation. But David, won't they get rid of me if I fix all of their problems? No, you're never going to fix all their problems. You know why? Because they're going to grow. You do this right, it will keep them in business. And the bigger the business grows, the bigger the problems get and new ones arise. Nobody has the same issues at $1 million in revenue as they do at $2 million, or $2 million problems are not the same as $5 million problems. You get the idea. Do not be afraid. This is endless. Another reason, if you don't trust just the general concept, trust this. I've got 230 cash flow strategies that I've used with my clients. There's only 1 or 2 that I know about and haven't used, and I'm just waiting for the right opportunity because they're at the right time in the right place. 230. So I can offer 3 new a year, 3 new a month. And that's 2+ years worth of advice. 2 years? Oh no, I don't know how long that is. It's a lot, right? It's years of advice, just 3 strategies a month. Great. Thank you very much for those of you who are watching live. I don't have the capability to stop and answer, but it's great to see you here, and I appreciate it. All right, so the shift. Let's, for example, say, hey, you should delay the equipment purchase. That's telling them what to do. How about instead, this is how much it costs. This is our cash position. You could buy it. and this is the impact it would have. However, there's some other options. You could lease the equipment, and we could look into what the down payment and the monthly lease costs are and what that impact is on your short-term and long-term cash flow. Or here's another option. Do you need it enough that you, or is it just a short-term temporary thing? Maybe we could rent it for a while or even rent to own. There's other options than just taking, let's call it an $80,000 piece of equipment and going, boom, here you go. Here's $80,000. Get out, get a loan, do the math. That there's options and you walk through the financial ramifications of each option. And that's how you become an advisor. You give options and let the clients make a decision. Great. And by the way, none of those decisions will end up being right or wrong. Maybe some of them will be wrong, but there is usually no single right decision. It's a matter of preference of what you want to do. Skill number 5 to become a fantastic cash flow advisor: implementation support. Just saying, hey, this is what you can do, that only gets you so far of being an advisor. What about other additional support? For example, measuring the impact, adjusting and helping them learn how to adjust their cash flow forecast for the implementation of strategies, showing the cash saved every week and then putting that into an annualized basis, and also helping them influence, like creating a checklist, simple things, a simple dashboard to show progress. Everything can be simplified. Nothing needs to be high technology at the beginning. You might want to go there towards as you're implementing and getting a system together. But for example, I do 15-minute check-ins during an implementation each week. How is your accounts receivable system going? Have you started measuring how long it takes the invoice to go out? Good. So let's start tracking that. Number 2 would be, are you doing the follow-up calls to make sure that they've been received, or somehow or another getting a confirmation that it was received and that the invoice is correct? So you can think of 3, 4, 5 steps like this, that it's simple, easy. Let's talk about it. Make sure whatever that critical thing is that week, you do a check-in, you add value. That is just one way to add value and provide implementation support. It's just an example. There are literally dozens or hundreds of ways. As many clients as you have, that's how many different ways there are to provide implementation support. So these skills will matter more to you than credentials. There's this conversation going on about whether or not people should call themselves fractional CFOs. Well, that's a job title. If you call yourself a fractional CFO, that's great. If you call yourself an advisor, as far as I'm concerned, that's great. At the end of the day, what your clients care about is not your title, it's the results that you bring. And once you start bringing results, you'll grow more and more confident. You'll be able to talk confidently to your prospects, additional clients, and they will love you for it. And what the clients are really looking for. And other than the CPA exam, some people hire because they've got you'll have a CPA after your name. Congratulations. That's great. It's a huge accomplishment. At the end of the day, people get hired because of various reasons, but they stay with the clients for the 4 following reasons, or the clients stay with them. Number 1 is providing clarity over complexity. Number 2, helping make decisions, not just providing data. Number 3, trying and going and creating a sense of partnership, not perfection in the reporting. And number 4, they're looking for results, not the reports that are so prevalent today for financial professionals. Here's the truth. Every single one of these skills can be learned and developed, and you don't need a new certification. You just need deliberate practice with real clients. So let's talk about your path. And this is a checklist. Write it down if you want to. Start with one client, do a 13-week cash flow forecast, and you might do it for free. People in my program, I say, if you're too afraid to ask to be paid, then tell them it's a $500 service that you're going to do for free because you're learning some new things and you want to help them while you're learning. Just be transparent. It's one of the things I try to do is just have transparency. Okay, so you're going to start with one client, 13-week cash flow. Number 2, you're going to master translating cash language from the accounting that you know. Learn how to explain the numbers in plain language. And here's how you can tell. If people start to get confused and the conversation gets complicated, it generally means accounting has crept into the conversation. Okay. Number 3, document your process. What questions are working? What frameworks help? What are you doing that's right or you're wrong? List out the strategies. I've got 230. How many do you have today? And add them as you keep going and growing them. Number 4, this is how you're going to learn how to do this on your own. Get feedback. Ask, was this clear? Is there anything else I can do to clarify this situation? What are you uncomfortable with? What are you uncertain about? What can I do to make you feel like you've got the information you need to make a great decision? You get the idea. Ask questions. Number 5 is you can refine and scale this, and every single partner you may have makes you a sharper, better advisor. So you don't have to do everything perfectly today. You just need to be focusing on doing them better and better, and progress compounds into becoming a master of these skills. This week, just pick one. You don't have to even go in order. Just pick one you're going to do and then implement the other ones on an ongoing basis. Document what's going on. Give me some feedback. I'd love to know if this worked for you, and if not, what didn't, so I can learn and I can help you. I promise if you tell me something didn't work, I'll brainstorm with you and we can make it work, or we can help do something better. So here are some questions I get. Question number 1 is, oh, but my clients just want me to do their bookkeeping. How do I shift this? And my response is, just start by asking some questions during a regular meeting. Just looking what I'm seeing, it looks like you're running out of cash in the not too distant future. Most of us can tell when they're running out of cash. Would you like me to walk through and try and help you create a 13-week cash flow model so we can predict out exactly where you'll be over the next few weeks? Some will say yes, some will say no. I guarantee you, if you offer the first couple for free, they're probably going to say yes. And then you'll get more confident and say, I do this for a certain amount of dollars. We can do it once. And then you'll have the model to work with. And then once you present the model, you say, here you go. Here's the model. If you'd like, I can do these updates on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And if they're in trouble, you got to do it at least weekly. And it'll only cost you X number of dollars more. So you always know what your cash position will be going forward. That's the transition. Start with the transition, soft and relatively small incremental steps. Number 2, I just don't have time to add advisory on top of my compliance work. Okay, well, there's ways you can deal with that. Excuse me. Number 1 would be partner up. Find somebody who does advisory work, and you can do revenue share, and they become the advisor and you continue to do compliance, or vice versa. Find somebody who's doing compliance work and let them do your compliance work. You get less per hour doing compliance work. And I'm not talking about an hourly rate. I'm talking about packages of services. Advisory is worth more. Learn to have a trusted partner, an outsourced full-time person. You can bring on a second person or partial people. You get the idea. Okay. Well, what if my advice doesn't work? I had this question a week ago in our mastermind, and one of the newer people said, David, do you ever get scared that your advice isn't going to work out? My response was, no. I do get nervous once in a while. Can I help this client? Until I realize that I can help them. And now I don't even get nervous about that. That was the past. But I never get nervous about a specific piece of advice. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one, it's just numbers. You calculate out what the impact will be. When numbers change, numbers change. So if something changes by $1 and it happens 100 times, it's $100 total. You get the idea. And I've gone back and documented the impact so many times, and it really does work. You change something and it rolls to the future and the numbers add up. That's number one. Number two is what we talked about earlier. You don't make decisions. I do not make decisions for my clients. I lay out the situation. I show them what the challenges are, and I ask them, would you like to do something about this? And they always say yes, because they can't believe how much money they're losing on whatever we're dealing with. Then I say, okay, we'll work on it together. And I lay out numbers. Here's option 1, 2, 3. I don't do more than 3 options, even if there's more, because I use some wisdom and I refine that to 3 options, maybe 2. And there might only be 1 real option. It doesn't matter. Do you want to implement this? When would you like to implement it? How much would you like to implement? Do you want to implement the whole thing or part of it? You can see all the decision making that goes on, that your client makes the decision, and then you help them and you do your best. And it works. And if you don't have that gut feeling that you know it works today, you need to pick up some clients and get started doing this type of work. So here's some things that you can do that I'm going to suggest to help you with ongoing education. Number one, subscribe. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. It also helps me grow the channel and reach more people, obviously. But whatever you're listening in on, follow me. And if you're on LinkedIn, you just know that every week, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, I'm going to be here. So that's number one. Number two, take some action. I've already outlined some things you could do today. And one of the other things you can do, you see that CIC 60. For some of you, I might be blocking or it might be cut off depending on the aspect ratio. Go to CIC60.com. Get 24 strategies that you can implement. It's plain English. You'll get it. You'll understand how I work. And then you'll be able to implement those strategies. And they're all strategies that make your clients money and that they control. Read the ebook. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Number 4. If you want to, let's talk. I teach this on an ongoing basis to professionals, and it completely changes the trajectory of what they are able to do. I've already told you, you can do this on your own. If you want to accelerate, let's talk. And I'm at david@davidsafir.com. Leave me a message wherever you're watching this. Let's talk and see if it doesn't make sense for us to work together, to be a part of one of my advisory programs, and for you to get up to speed becoming a trusted cash flow advisor. Until next time, keep building your confidence and delivering fearless cash flow advisory. I'm David Saphir, and this has been Cash Flow Confidence Live. See you next week.